was a controversial win for Usyk as Dubois hit him with what the referee deemed as a low blow. Usyk is now unbeaten in all of his 21 fights. That's the one thing we can't debate. He is different class, and Dubois has now lost twice in his. Joining us for more on this is Daniel Dubois' promoter, Frank Warren. Frank, a very good morning. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Good morning, Frank.
Morning, Ali. Morning, Andy.
Great tip. Well, we're in top form, mate. We're in top form. And before we ask you, I just want to read you a couple of quotes, mate. Obviously, one from Usyk himself. He says, "You're not allowed to hit a man in that area. Listen, boxing, it's a sport for gentlemen. It's not a street fight, it's boxing." And then his promoter, Oleksandr, went as far as saying Dubois was deliberately targeting Usyk below the belt. Frank, we love the boxing, Andy and I, but in our unlimited knowledge of it, we're actually in your camp and Spencer Oliver's camp.
Yeah.
A low blow? That's got to be harsh, mate.
It wasn't a low blow. You know, look, first of all, it's the area you punch, you're allowed to punch it in, is determined at the rules meeting. It's not determined about how high you wear your shorts. If that was the case, Chris Eubank a little punch would have been on his nipples.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous situation. And I've watched so many different angles of this, obviously, because we're searching them out. And that punch was on his waistband of his shorts, and those shorts were high. I mean, you wouldn't go into a tailor's and buy a pair of trousers that are that high or being measured up for a suit that high on your waist, because it's not your waist. It was well above his navel. And, you know, at the end of that, I don't blame Alex what he's saying, because they obviously don't want us in for a rematch, but we're going to, obviously. And obviously Usyk's the same thing. But you know, Usyk's, I've got a lot of respect for him. You know, he was a tremendous cruiserweight. He's been a really good heavyweight, but he does have previous for complaining about low blows. In fact, he done it against AJ in his fight.
Yeah, Frank, so what can you do from this point? Where can you go with this as a complaint, and what do you genuinely think is going to happen on the back of it?
Well, the fight was for although all the belts were on the line, it was the WBA's turn as far as their mandatory is concerned. So what we'll do, we'll collate our photographic and video evidence and present it to them, and present obviously what was said at the rules meeting, determining, you know, what were legal and what were illegal blows, and they'll have to make a decision. And I can't see them going anywhere else. I mean, really, I'd like to declare it no contest as a result of it, because Daniel should be now having those 3 belts around his waist. But I think if we can get it to a rematch, then that's where we'll get to.
Frank, tell me, I'm guessing by what I'm hearing in your voice, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, and I know how hard these boys hit. It's absolutely incredible. However, are you a little bit disappointed in Usyk's reaction?
Yeah, I am, but he's going to justify what he said. Look, Daniel went over there. There was 40,000 people. He's in the other guy's backyard. A very partisan crowd, and they were a real good crowd. Though they weren't like going away to, sound like the Celtic Rangers derby or some of the boxing matches I've put on. They were quite a good crowd, and when I was doing the interview in the ring, they all started screaming out BS, BS, as I was saying what I'm saying to you now. And I asked, well, somebody put the video up on the big screen in the stadium, and eventually it went up and it all went quiet. Right. That's all I know.
Yeah, Frank. So look, if you got the opportunity of a rematch, let's just say you did, which is great for Daniel. He'll feel there's some justice there. Looking ahead, is that going to scupper some of the long-term plans with regards to Usyk and Tyson?
Well, no, really, because that fight, we were talking about doing that fight early next year, and that's still the plan. The plan was the winner of the fight on Saturday to fight Tyson early next year, so that won't go on before then. Because of what the bigger picture is, you can't just cast aside Daniel's situation. He was unfairly treated. And also, Daniel's going to have to step up a bit more. I mean, the game plan out there was to go for his body, because he definitely has a weakness to his body. And I've been in the business a long time, and that was the game plan. That's what we talked about, and eventually got there. But he's got to do more than that the next time he fights him. He could have won that fight. He just needed to step on the gas a bit more. But whatever way you want to look at it, he got cheated in that round. He should be the champion.
Frank, tell me, what's the next plan of attack then? Obviously, you said you're going to appeal. What's the time scale for the appeal? And will we have to wait a long period to find out the outcome?
Well, they'll determine, if an appeal is justified and when it will take place. I hope they do that very quickly, because we don't all be, sort of in limbo waiting for a decision, because everybody needs to move on. But whatever happens, I can't see any way they can do anything but have a hearing, because it is a controversial and for me a clear breach of the regulations. The referee got it wrong, and he's a good referee, by the way. I like Pat. He refereed a lot of my shows, and I've got a lot of time for it. He got it terribly wrong. If it was a low blow and it caused what was it, nearly 4 minutes, which is like 24 times the amount of time you get from a 10 count. He's got 24 times longer. If it's that severe, why did he take a point off him?
Brilliant, Frank.
Very
Listen,
true.
Appreciate you coming on this morning, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks for your time, mate.
See ya.
Okay.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.